Although your first job isn't probably your dream job, I would definitely say please do like stick with it. Maybe the first step would be to get the UK experience on your CV, and then you can like start thinking about like sponsorship, visa, and you can just work your way through that. Don't let another person's negative experience or say another person not able to find a job or like not able to continue their stay in the UK. Like don't take that as your limits. When you're like international, when you're spending in rupees and you're like living and you're paying rent in pounds, your approach can become very desperate. You just want a job. But I think when you start thinking about the bigger picture, I think that kind of puts you in a better position to make good choices for yourself. Interviewing the interviewer back, like you want to know, is this a good company for me? Like besides thinking only about sponsorship, like am I going to be happy with them for the next 3 or 5 years? Like do they care about my growth? I got you South Indian filter coffee.
And I have Vietnamese coffee for you. And let's give it a try, yeah?
Yay, yes.
Welcome back to London, a video podcast about finding jobs and sponsorships and navigating life in the UK. I'm your host, Ellen. Our guest today comes from Vellore, a small town in South India. Darshni moved to London in 2020 to pursue her master's degree in business intelligence and digital marketing. Navigating the job market during the pandemic, Darshni was determined to create a career in marketing and advertising, and her persistence has paid off. Now working as an account manager at the leading affiliate marketing network, she's thriving in corporate London. Welcome to the show, Darshni. How are you today?
All great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good as well.
I just want to say that I'm really excited to be here and thank you for this opportunity. I'm really glad that I get this platform to share my story.
Yeah. I'm obviously very excited to have you here. And today, like me and the audiences really want to know more about your journey and how you got to where you are today. And so to start with, could you walk us through your journey from when you first came to the UK till now?
Sure. So I moved to the UK January 2020. Unfortunately, it was just 3 months before the pandemic had started, and I moved here to study my master's in business intelligence and digital marketing. And I think after my graduation, I started working at a small travel startup for like 6 months as a social media analyst, and then I got the job that I'm working right now. I'm an account manager at an affiliate marketing network. It's been a little over 3 years, and the journey has been extremely rewarding, I would say.
Yeah, it's crazy how 2020 is 5 years ago. I was just thinking in my head, you just graduated.
Honestly, I feel like I had a lot of like expectations about how I wanted my university life to be, but sadly everything was just online. I think that also really motivated me to, since I didn't get the university experience I signed up for, I really wanted to experience corporate London.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my main motivation to making my life work in the UK.
Yeah. How was it back then coming to the UK when lockdowns happened and you just have 1 year here?
Yeah, I think comparatively things here were a lot more safer in terms of like the safety precautions. And there was like there was no opportunity for you to like travel back home. So in a way we were trapped. But I guess, since the environment was entirely new, like I was in a new country, so that was a little exciting.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how I got through like all of those months in 2020.
Yeah.
Because we were all like just trapped at home and like attending classes online, trying to like figure out like assignments. I just feel like we were never really prepared for, what we were about to be graduated into, like the job market during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I really don't know how I got through that time.
Yeah. So, I mean, well done. That I can't imagine what it was like to came to UK for the first time and go through everything like that. So when you came here at that time, did you plan to get a job after graduation?
I mean, to be really honest, in my very initial thought process was that, I'm going to go do my master's and then I'm going to like go back to India. So I didn't really I didn't really think too much into the future. But I think once I landed here, like I really liked it. Like I feel like here, though you get a lot of like freedom, I think a lot of the brown girls watching from India, they know what I'm talking about. But Yeah, I think it really made me a very like independent person. Like I sort of really knew like who Darshni really is because of this experience. Like, yeah, you decide your entire day. I think back in India, your entire day is like decided by, what your family wants and what, there are a lot of other external factors. Here I feel like good or bad, it's just you at the end of the day. So I feel like it definitely made me a lot more confident. Yeah, did I answer your question or I don't know?
I understand that even though it was a tough time, but you still could feel the difference between life in the UK and life in India back then. So tell me about life in India. What was life before you come here?
Sure. So I think I actually studied finance. So that was my undergraduate degree. And then I stumbled into the world of marketing. I got a job during my campus placement interview. And I think I was in a very happy space. Like I really enjoyed my busy agency life, like lots of clients, lots of creative briefs, and time was just running. But I think it was my family who really pushed me because they were like, is this enough for you? Like, is this all you want out of life? Like, don't you want to study further? Don't you want to do something else? So I think it was more than mine. I think it was my dad's dream that I like lived and I like studied in the UK. So yeah, that's how I decided to come here.
Was it the first time you left home to move to another country?
Yeah, country, yes. Though I did live in a different city back in India. But yeah, it was my first.
And I suppose your parents, did they live abroad before, or now you are like, their dream becoming true in the next generation?
Yeah, I mean, I think my dad did travel quite a bit, and I think he had been to London before. So that's why he was like really insistent that I like, you have to pick this university, you have to like study in London and all of that. But yeah, it's been really, really rewarding.
Yeah. Is it common in India that people want to study abroad, or their parents supportive of that path? What was it like, you think, with your friends and compare yourself?
I think there are people on both sides, I would definitely say. But I think right now, after the pandemic, I think people just don't want to be home. I find a lot of my juniors, my seniors, and my peers, they all want to like move abroad now. I think right now it's becoming more of like a path that people are choosing because they really want to experience what it is to live in a developed country, because you get a lot of exposure here, and your learning curve is a lot better here than it could potentially be in the same city that you've lived all your life.
And I could imagine you came there to study and then getting a job afterwards. So you say that you wanted to get a job after you realized how nice it was in the UK, right? So how was that kind of experience like? Were you worried like when studying in the UK but all online, you didn't have that experience in campus talking to people, and now thinking about looking for a job? What was your mental state like?
I think for me, luckily, I did a lot of research even before that I moved to the UK. So I knew, how difficult it is to get a sponsored job. And I think my mindset was like, go, go, go. Like, I had this like do or die mindset. And I think from day one, I was really persistent, and I felt like I really I think it's more of this ego when somebody says, oh no, this country is like not gonna like keep you here, and especially if you're going to do something in marketing. I think my internal ego was like, I am going to get a job, I am going to stay back here. So I think I was just really persistent. I was like on it from day one. And I think when I was job hunting after graduation, I was a little very picky initially, because I'm like, I definitely want to work in an agency. Like, I want to work for these kind of clients. I want to do that. I want to do this. But I think realistically, I had to be a bit more open-minded, because I think my first job wasn't my dream job, but I think it definitely gave me that experience in order to land my next big opportunity. So I sort of had to be more open-minded, and then so I was working as a social media analyst for a travel startup. I think that 6 months on that job, it gave that UK experience on my CV. So that led me to a lot other interviews after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a planned strategy, or you got that job and you thought, I'm gonna go with it? Because I know that it's hard to get jobs, so a lot of people just go for the first opportunity that
Yeah,
they
I think, I mean, if I had a lot more choices, I could have like thought otherwise. But I think for me, in that, at that point in my life, I just went ahead with whatever came my way. But then 6 months in, and then I think I was headhunted by a recruiter into my current job role. So I think, it just happened for me, I would say.
Yeah, it's good to have a stepping stone like that, and better than not having anything.
Yeah, and I think even when I was like, before I got headhunted into my current job role, I only wanted to like apply for jobs, at a company which potentially had the license to sponsor me. So I think in terms of that, I was very strategic. Like, I was talking to a lot of like recruitment companies who were helping me find jobs in London, and I clearly told all of them that please do not like send me jobs or like put forward my CV to companies when I know that they are potentially going to say no 2 years down the lane. So I think in that way, I mean, I feel like I really made a smart decision, because I didn't want to waste my time with companies who were later going to say no down the lane. So I think, I was only looking for jobs who had the license to sponsor me, and then I knew that it was on me to like win them over and like show my value and be indispensable to the company.
And the first job, was it a potential to sponsor, or they didn't come up?
I don't think so. Like, I did have the conversation at the very initial stages, even with that travel startup, but they did tell me yes, depending on how the company grows. But I don't know, maybe it was my own mindset that, okay, it's going to take, I mean, my chances seemed very low, working there for 6 months. So I definitely wanted to make a big jump and, improve my chances. I wanted to use my graduate visa in a very, like in the best way possible.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about your job search process, and I'd love to hear more about your tips. Especially, you came here just for a year, and during the pandemic, there were a lot of challenges. So how did you prepare for that first opportunity? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that I had to do was like basically practice, because a lot of these interviews, especially like you want to work for like a bigger company, you have like these like aptitude exams, I would say. So I think, and even like interviews, like I think maybe now I might be like very like out of practice, but I think when I was in that phase of looking for jobs, I would like have a lot of interviews, and I would always ask them for feedback. And towards the end of my interview, I would like ask them this very important question. I would ask them, do you have any reservations about my application? Because sometimes, if they do, and if they say that to me, I will know if there's a way I can like overturn it, or, if I could like maybe share more. Because I think in like 30 minutes, it's really hard for someone to like understand your entire life story. So I think that, just being very honest and upfront about people. And I think even when I started my job search, I think I was very positive. Like, even the people who rejected my application or who couldn't give me jobs, they were very, they always sent me like emails afterwards saying that, oh my God, Darshni, you're like really positive. I'm sure you're going to find something in this pandemic market. So I think that really kept me going. And I think I was just like, I really believed that I deserved so much more. And because I think, when you're an international student or when you're an immigrant, sometimes you always sell yourself short, maybe because you get a lot of rejections, or maybe, you're not from the same country. But I think over time, what I still firmly stand by is that I think like we're really talented. We can like speak multiple languages. We can like, we're very adaptable. And I think UK really needs us. So I think sort of like understanding that mindset and sort of like working through like your own insecurities, I think that really gave me the confidence, like, what, I've got this. So that's just kind of what I think I was really quick. I didn't really have time to like sit and think and like, oh, how am I feeling about this? I was just running.
Like, know your worth, and like you say, go.
Yeah.
When did you start applying for job when you came here to study?
Honestly, I think I started like 3-4 months, like seriously, before my graduation. And I graduated in April, and then I started in May.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any like overlap. So that way I feel like, 3 months, 4 months before was when I like
Yeah.
I was fully committed to the job search process.
Yeah. And how long did it take to get that first job?
In those 3-4 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there wasn't any gap. Like I graduated in
And
April,
immediate.
and then I immediately started my new job in May. So that
Yeah.
was, and then to get my second job, I think it took me like 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like
Oh,
a
wow.
month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the job market back then was really different from what I hear it is right now. But yeah.
Yeah. But it's incredible because that is very short time and you
Yeah.
land the role. So what would you say, let's say the top 3 things that made the most difference for you during that job search process?
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah, I think do your research, like, about the company, about the projects, and about the clients, that they have. Sometimes, when I would like speak to the interviewer, I would just like slip in that, that I saw your campaign for this particular client, and, you guys had done this, and I thought that was very different. So I think the first thing to do is like really do your research. And then the second tip would be to like go in with a positive attitude, because I feel like a lot of them, they just fear rejection, or maybe since it's happening to them over a period of time, it really affects their self-worth. So I think sort of like just like reminding myself that maybe just because you're brown, or you probably have a different skin color than people who are from this country, it doesn't mean that you're any lesser. So I think just going in with that positive and like very open and honest conversation, I think that really helped me. Because I think I was just very transparent with every person that I interviewed with, and I told them that, listen, like, if you like me, that's cool, but this is what I want. I think after some time you also start sort of like interviewing the interviewer back. Like, you want to know, is this a good company for me? Like, besides thinking only about sponsorship, like, am I going to be happy with them for the next 3 or 5 years? Like, do they care about my growth? Are they inclusive? Like, do they care about diversity, inclusion? So I think I started thinking about the bigger picture, because sometimes I feel, when you're like international, when you're spending in rupees and you're like living and you're paying rent in pounds, you can, your approach can become very desperate. You just want a job. But I think when you start thinking about, the bigger picture, I think that kind of puts you in a better position to make good choices for yourself. So I think that was my second one. And I think third thing, I think understanding the immigration system is very important. I think, like, luckily for me, I sort of knew that sponsorship was difficult. And to be honest, I had not met anybody in like marketing or advertising who had a sponsored job back then. So even my university was like, they were constantly like, when you, that job search committee, they were advising me to look for jobs back in India if I wanted to do marketing.
What?
So I was like, then why did I pay so much fees to like move here? So I think understanding the immigration process, and when I moved here, the graduate visa didn't even exist. So it was announced later on. So I think I was very lucky that I got those 2 years. So, when I got the 2 years, I was like, I am going to use this the best way possible. And I'm going to like find an employer, who cares about my growth, who makes me happy. And I like obviously should enjoy the work, should enjoy the culture. So I think, thinking about the bigger picture and understanding the immigration system, so that really helped me make like smarter choices.
Yeah. And I think it also bring out that you have a lot of worth and value to offer, instead of feeling like, just give me anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. How about the sponsor job then? How did you approach that? You said that you worked at the first job for 6 months. So at that point, how did you know that, okay, now is the time to move on? What happened at that point?
I think it wasn't anything that happened. I think I was just, working on agency side and then moving to brand side. I wasn't very like happy because I just felt like, like I was used to doing a lot more things. I was used to managing a lot more clients. So I really wanted a change in the like working environment. But I think with my second, like with my current employer, 6 months in, I think I told them that, like in order for me to continue working here, I need sponsorship. And I think I was really blessed in the sense I had a really good, like very understanding manager, and the whole management team were really supportive. They put me on all these important projects, and, they gave me a lot of responsibilities, so which made me really like valuable to the company. So that when it was time for them to sponsor my visa, it was a no-brainer. Because I think with bigger companies, you need like a lot of there's a very long approval process. It has to go, till the top, and then they had to like approve your, sponsorship budget. So I think being open and honest and like transparent with them from the very beginning, I think it also gave them time to like think and then see how what they can do to make sure that my sponsorship was secured. So I think that's how it happened for me.
So this is with the next company, the current company.
Yes.
That you have that conversation with them.
Yes.
How was the interview process like?
So I think to be honest, I interviewed for an entry level position with them initially, and then I thought the interview went great. But then at the end, when I asked them this question, like, do you have any reservations about my application? They actually told me that, the job involved a lot of admin stuff, and I had like a lot more experience. So, I mean, I didn't really have anything to overturn that because I think, I did have experience. So in my head, I was like, okay, I think I'm not going to get this job. But I think luckily they called me back and they asked me, do you want to interview for the senior account specialist role? I'm like, oh, this is new. So I think that was also another reminder, right? Like, we come into this country to do masters with lots of experience back home, but we're still pushed to apply for entry level jobs. So this is something that, I am really like encouraging people to like like ask more, like unless you ask, you're not gonna get what you want. So I think that was such a like a very positive like response that they offered. Like they interviewed me for the senior account specialist role, and I think it was just like one interview that I had where I had to like basically analyze a bunch of data and then like present it to them, and then like basically talk about like my thought process, and then I think like in a couple of days I got the job.
And
so.
Did you told them about the sponsorship need at the beginning?
I think I told the recruiter who was coordinating. So I they obviously like I did my research and they told me that my company has a license to sponsor and they have sponsored people like in the past. So I got that checked first, and then only then I like went forward with the interview preparation and the interview.
And you said that they reached out to you first.
And then they asked me to interview for the senior role, and then I got it, and then it's been 3 years with them.
Wow, that was actually very nice. They reached out to you, and then they say, look, there's more senior role, you more suitable for that, let's interview you for that.
Honestly, that just reaffirms that sometimes people keep complaining that there are recruiters who ghost you, and then companies, who make you do a lot of tasks and they never get back to you. I think seeing that happen to me, it just like really made me reaffirm that, okay, you're on the right path, you're doing the right things, you're getting the right kind of responses. So, I think that really helped.
No, that's great. Okay, before we continue our conversation, now is a segment where we try food from our own country. Where you bring coffee.
So I got you South Indian filter coffee. Like I'm a huge coffee lover, so I think you're gonna like it.
I'm very excited, and I have Vietnamese coffee for you, and you have never tried it before.
Yes, I've not, but I've heard amazing stuff about your coffee.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay, done.
So each of us is holding a cup of coffee, and I'm holding the coffee that Darshni brings here. And where is it from? And can you describe this?
Sure. So this is the South Indian filter coffee. So it's quite popular where I'm from. Like I'm from Vellore, and this is like an everyday thing back at home. And I think the last 6 months I've started like making it at home. I've got the machine for that. I've got the filter coffee powder, and yeah, I really wanted you to like have a taste of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. And Darshni is holding Vietnamese coffee, which is like a specialty from Vietnam where we put coffee with condensed milk in there. So it is kind of sweet. Do you drink sweet coffee?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
think you're going to find that to be sweet as well.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a try, yeah?
Yay, yes. It's really
Oh.
good.
Nice. Actually, it's very similar, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think
Oh.
it's just warm and with our eyes.
Oh,
Oh, it's yeah. Yeah, let's try.
it is really good. Yeah. It's sort of like a mocha, but it's not entirely a mocha. So I can see that. Like,
Mm.
how do they make this?
I think it is a filter coffee as well, but then with
Oh.
condensed milk afterward. That at least
Okay.
how I
Okay.
know of, but I might be
Oh.
wrong here. But yeah.
Interesting. Even, I mean, in the filter coffee as well, you have like a decoction and then you put a little bit of hot milk and then that's how you make it.
Yeah.
You can make a cold version of it as well, but yeah.
This
Yeah.
is very nice though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad.
And it's not like dissimilar. I feel like it's very similar to Vietnamese coffee. It's just like you heat it up so it's warmer and feel more
Okay.
cozy.
Oh, yeah. I think that's sort of how,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I need every day to fuel myself and like get up and show up and go to work. So
Yeah. Did
I'm glad
you-
you like it.
Did you make this one?
Yeah, I did.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Did you drink a lot of coffee at
Yeah,
home and
I
here?
love coffee, but I'm trying to like limit myself to just one coffee a day. But if it were up to me, I would drink a lot more.
Yeah, I don't actually usually drink coffee, but I think
Okay.
of Vietnamese coffee to me is a bit like a dessert because it's so sweet.
Oh, okay.
Does it wake you up, like keep
Yeah,
you
yeah,
awake
yeah.
drinking this?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, it has caffeine in it, so it just like gives you that like boost of energy in the mornings. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's yummy though. Obviously, you came here for 1 year to study and then you had a lot of success with looking for jobs one after another within a short amount of time. I could imagine you must have had experiences back in India as well. Can you share a bit more about life or your work experience and study before moving to the UK that prepare you for that job search here?
Sure. So I did my undergrad in finance. And I mean, although I did love accounts and, I think I was a very academically inclined student, I think I didn't really see myself as a person, sitting in a room and just doing like running numbers all day. I naturally gravitated towards, a job that involves like talking to people and, like just something that brought out the creative version of me. And I think when I was in undergrad, I did a lot of external activities. Like I used to volunteer for TEDx Chennai. I used to do a lot of events. And I think because of those experiences was how I landed a job at a digital marketing agency in Chennai. And yeah, I think even there when I joined, it was very like intimidating because, I'm from finance. And then there were people who actually like studied media. And then, they obviously knew a lot more about the industry. So it did take me a while to like, understand, how things work there. And I did think I really thrived in that environment. It really was. And I think because of those experiences, I kind of like could understand the agency marketing ecosystem in London a little better. And I always had those experiences, those clients and those metrics that I could talk about. So I think that definitely did like give me like an advantage when it came to my job hunting in the UK.
How long did you work at the agency?
I think like a year and a couple of months.
Okay. As an internship?
No, it was a full-time job.
Okay.
I was a social media executive
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Social media specialist, actually. That's
Yeah.
what they called it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you worked there and then you came to UK to study
Yes.
masters. Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
So some experience already in
Yeah.
that.
I think working in that agency ecosystem, and when I had to think about masters, I was thinking about what did I want to upskill in. And I know there, we were dealing with like clients, like we were basically dealing with numbers and we were calculating ROI and things like that. So I think that's why I wanted to do my masters in business intelligence and marketing here, because I mean my course was like really interesting because it gave me a lot of insights into like social media and like marketing, but it also had a data spin to it. So like, although I'm not a big fan of math, it definitely did make me a lot more confident when it comes to, like analyzing data, and like numbers don't intimidate me anymore.
It was helpful. And I have a lot of people who tell me that they worried their experiences back home would not count when they come to the UK. What do you say about that?
I mean, I think it's still a challenge that, we as like immigrants, we're still working through. But I definitely feel like just because the country is different, I think it's really unfair to, like push them to like start looking for entry level jobs. Because like obviously working in an agency in India, you're very used to the Indian agency ecosystem. You work with Indian clients and everything is different. And I know things here work very differently, but we obviously have those transferable skills that, can make us a great team player for any team here. So yeah, I'm going to be a little biased, but I think, those experiences are still experiences. At the end of the day, we were disciplined. We like showed up to work, we learned about clients, we cared about the company's vision and goals. So yeah, that should be considered as work experience, and that should definitely add value to someone's CV. But unfortunately, like even in my experience, like maybe I feel like maybe having those 6 months of experience working in the startup, it definitely like pushed my CV forward. Like I had a lot of like recruiters reach out to me, and I think it just broadened my like opportunities. So maybe what I would tell people right now is like, although your first job isn't probably your dream job, I would definitely say please do like stick with it. Like maybe the first step would be to get the UK experience on your CV. And then you can like start thinking about like sponsorship, visa, and like you can just work your way through that.
It will solidify what you had back home as well.
Yes.
Now that you have some UK experience, you'll be more attractive to employers. So how is life outside work in the UK? So you're on your own here, and you have been navigating this life in the UK through the pandemics. How has it been?
I mean, I think honestly, like it is, there are good days, there are bad days. Like there are some days, I'm just like, oh my God, like I hate this place, I want to go home, But there are some days, which like say like there are some days which really makes me feel like, oh my God, I'm living like so many people's dreams. Like, and I have been blessed with this opportunity. So, like I don't want to go back. So I think it is a mix of both, I would definitely say. And
Do you go back to India often?
I usually try to go once a year. And I was in India in December. So nice. It was really nice.
Do you go back every Christmas time and
it
end
depends.
Of year?
I try to go during like every like closer to Diwali. But yeah, I think like people back at home, they only see the shiny parts of your life on Instagram. They always say, oh my God, you're like having the best life, you're having so much fun. But I feel like the reality is really far from that. Like, I know I'm experiencing corporate London here, but, there's also a lot of, things that you do by yourself here. Like in India, I think I'm a very pampered child. You have like a driver to drive you around. You have like your family taking care of like every single thing for you. Here, like you're all the family you've got. So I think it's really overwhelming, and it can be very isolating, because sometimes I think a lot of the times at work, like I see all my colleagues, they have like, say they want to move out, they can just go and stay at their family's house. But I can't do that. So I think, it can be really isolating. And I also feel like making friends as an adult is also really difficult. Because I think maybe even during university, things were easy. But I've been here 5 years now, and a lot of my peers have moved back home, or they've like moved to different countries. So it's just me all by myself here. And I think it's only my job that's like mostly like, keeping me here. And obviously like London's great. There's like so much to do here, and you just like never get bored. Like the city constantly like challenges you and pushes you, and it, it really brings out the best in you, is what I really believe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like there is two sides of it. Here you have freedom, your opportunities at home, your family, your community. You have that pamper life with your parents are always there and catering to our needs. So what would you say, would you have chosen this path now that 5 years later, looking back and knowing all the pros and cons,
Yeah.
would you still make the same decision?
I think I definitely will. Like, although I did, like, the initial, like, the push was given by my parents, but yeah, I think I've grown so much in like such a short span of time, like 5 years. I am definitely grateful for this experience. It's just made me a better person.
Yeah. Do you plan here to stay here longer or come back? And a lot of people I know that they plan to get their IOR and then they go back home because they're here already. What is your future plan?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. Like, it is a very complicated question, but I think I've been here 5 years, and I think I'm 3.5 years away from like applying for my ILR. So I feel like, you know, I've navigated the last 5 difficult years here. It's just 3.5 more.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna do it. But yeah, sometimes I do wonder, you know, like in terms of like building a family for yourself or like raising a child. Like, you know, is it as easy as people do it? So I think sometimes when I think of these, you know, things or these parts of my life, I wonder if life back in India would be like any better. But like I said, it's a constant battle, you know, it's a push and pull. I love London, but oh my God, like I miss the food at home.
Yeah,
or like, oh my God, I miss the convenience. So yeah, I guess I don't really have a very exact answer to that, but I'm definitely keen to get my ILR.
Yeah. You can't have it all. Not in the UK.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to younger girls, like back at home, for example, watching this or looking at you and as a role model, for example? What do you say to them?
Yeah, I would just tell them that, you know, just don't let say another person's negative experience or say another person, you know, not able to find a job or like not able to continue their stay in the UK. Like, don't take that as your limits, because I feel like, I mean, when I moved here, like from the university, like student commit, like the job board, like a lot of people, they told me that you're not gonna get a job in marketing. You know, like people in the UK, they prefer people from their own country because you know they can like probably speak better English, or maybe they you know, they know more about the culture and history. But I think I was really determined. I'm like, I decide when I move back to my country. You know, I'm not going to let the government or I'm not going to let anybody else do that. So I would just say take ownership for your own choices. And another important thing that I think even we spoke about during our first call was that if you do end up moving back home, like it's not a failure. You know, it's like, because I think I've had a lot of different friends, and like I said, a lot of them have moved back home, and some of them have better opportunities there. You know, say they want to start a business, or you know, maybe they want to, work with their parents' family business, or you know, just because you're not here, that doesn't mean that you know your life is a failure. Or I think there's also a lot of shame associated, because sometimes families are like disappointed when their children come back home, because you know they want this like life for them in the UK. But I just feel like there are pros and cons to everything. Like, think about your pros and cons, like what matters to you. Like, I think if you just think about the big picture, if you just try to be a little selfish and think about your goals, and like if you're gonna continue your stay in the UK, how is that going to benefit your career? How is that going to benefit your personal life? So if you have answers for that figured out, then I think you're like 10% ahead than everybody else. But even moving back home, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you gave your best shot and you feel like you have a better, you know, opportunity back home. Like, it's amazing. Like, congratulations on that move. It's not a bad thing.
No, exactly. Because you explore the path in the UK, because here being on a visa is very challenging and it limits your growth as well. Because it takes us 5 years going to be on the visa, and then we got more opportunities afterward. But in our home country, we might move a lot faster during that
and you
5 years.
also have the home turf advantage, right? Like,
exactly.
you know people, you know, they're going to like promote your business, or they're going to like vouch for you. You know, you've already earned that community. But here you start all by yourself, and for some people it works, and even like mental health plays a huge part. You know, like I know some people, you know, like it's just really difficult for them to like mentally be alone by themselves, and like, you know, I just feel like every day can be a battle. But if you just, I think it's all about perception, and it's all about how you look at yourself and how you look at the path you've chosen for yourself.
Yeah. It is a big shock, right? Going from a big community, especially in India or like Vietnam, to here in the UK. It's so different. And I think a lot of people, like you say, not prepared for that.
Yeah, not at all. They just see all the fancy stuff. They think, oh, I'm going to go to London Bridge, see the Big Ben. I'm going to be happy. But you can do that. But you also have to do a lot of difficult chores. And, you know, you need to have that like very strong mindset. And you need to be strong for yourself and for your family back home.
Yeah. No, definitely. So one last question is that I can see that you are have a lot of energy, very strong and very proactive and assertive, and not everyone is like that. Or have you always been like that? So do you have any tips for people to have more of that energy and be more, you know, confident and embracing themselves?
Oh, I mean, thank you for that. I definitely think of that as a good compliment for me.
Of course.
And I don't think I was necessarily like that initially, or at least the version of me like before I moved here or back at home. I was a big pushover, you know, like I was such a big people pleaser, and I just never really put myself on the top. But I think it's just a lot of negative experiences, meeting a lot of difficult people, you know, it just sort of like, I mean, the only way that I survived here, I think, is because of, you know, the way I am right now. And obviously, like it was shaped by all the experiences, good, bad, positive, negative, everything. But yeah, I mean, I think as a person, I think my shift just happened very naturally. You know, maybe, you know, they say that you're an average of the 5 people you spend most time with. Maybe when you're in university, or maybe when you're in a new country, maybe try to choose your people wisely.
Yeah.
Because I think this is something that I really didn't do a good job with when I initially moved here. But I think, you know, as you learn, as you grow, you know, you tend to choose like good people, you know, who motivate you, who, you know, who inspire you, and who are full of positive thoughts. And I think it's just having the right people, or like having people with the whole mindset, you know, the growth mindset. I think that definitely did like push me. You know, if you're going to keep focusing, oh, you know, that people didn't get a job, these people didn't, oh, you know, they didn't land a job, they're going to go back. But when you look at the people who did, and, you know, when you try to like surround yourself with that positivity, I feel like that can really like give you the courage to, you know, keep fighting this battle and just keep going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to tell you that, you know, when I moved here initially, there weren't a lot of like creators, you know, who spoke about, you know, finding sponsored jobs, or, you know, just like talking about the reality of what it is to study and work and live here. So I think I just stumbled across you on LinkedIn like a couple of years ago, and I just wanted to tell you that you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You know, educating and empowering maybe the next generation. And and thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your story and journey and advice. And I really hope, and I'm sure that people through watching, even just hearing about your story, they can feel that energy as well, and they feel inspired to take that big leap and expose themselves to opportunities to stretch themselves.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thanks for our viewers for tuning in. See you in another episode of Landed. Hi, thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you enjoy it. To support the show, remember to like, subscribe, and leave comments. You can also follow me on Instagram at Ellen Nguyen Official, where I post content more regularly. See ya!